I am absolutely furious. The American Heart Association has just come out with new blood pressure guidelines, and they are even more aggressive than the last ones. I've been talking about this scandal for years, especially for people over the age of 65, where we are overtreating their blood pressure, causing weakness, dizziness, falls, and a host of other problems that get worse as you get older. I see it every single day in my practice. I was hopeful that the authorities would finally wake up and look at the evidence showing that we don't need to be so aggressive, especially in older adults. I've also talked endlessly about how high blood pressure, for most people, is just a symptom of an upstream problem like insulin resistance. But no, the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology have doubled down with their new guidelines. Let's look at what the AHA is saying on their own website. This is their top 10 things to know about the updated guidelines. Now, I've been very vocal about my distrust of the AHA, their funding, and their long history of getting things wrong. Honestly, I think they're an absurd organization. They claim there's now stronger evidence linking high blood pressure to cognitive decline and dementia, suggesting that lowering it protects brain health. Sure, if your systolic pressure is extremely high, that might hold some water. But from my experience and the research I've reviewed, low blood pressure, especially in older adults, often does more harm. It can lead to insufficient blood flow to the brain, which is a major problem. The AHA lists high blood pressure as a leading risk factor for stroke, heart disease, heart failure, and atrial fibrillation. They also mention pregnancy guidelines, which we'll skip for now. But here's the real kicker. Their new guidelines define normal blood pressure as less than 120/80. They now consider a systolic pressure of 120 to 130 as elevated? Yes, you heard me right. A reading of 124 or 125 is now considered elevated blood pressure. Stage 1 hypertension is now 130 to 140 systolic. Stage 2 is 140 or higher, and a hypertensive crisis is above 180. This feels incredibly aggressive. You have to wonder, could this be driven by pharmaceutical interests? More people diagnosed means more people on medication. They briefly mention lifestyle changes, but then quickly pivot to suggesting medication. Of course they do. Their dietary advice focuses heavily on reducing salt, eating more fruits and vegetables, and limiting alcohol. Fine, vegetables are great, and moderating alcohol is sensible. But why are they so obsessed with salt while completely ignoring the elephant in the room, insulin resistance? The vast majority of hypertension, particularly in younger individuals, is driven by insulin resistance. This comes from our modern diet, full of excessive carbohydrates, sugars, and processed foods, combined with a sedentary lifestyle. I feel like a broken record talking about this. How can the leading heart health organizations in the United States, supposedly at the forefront of medicine, not even mention insulin resistance? It is absolutely baffling and just shows how broken our system is. These new guidelines are going to lead to even more people, especially older adults, being put on multiple blood pressure medications. I see it constantly. Patients over 65 come into the hospital weak, dizzy, and prone to falls because they're on 2, 3, or even for different blood pressure drugs, driving their pressures dangerously low. It's a tragedy waiting to happen, over and over again. And let's not forget the AHA's history. From their questionable founding to their role in the saturated fat controversy and their promotion of processed foods, it raises major red flags. They seem more aligned with Big Pharma than with actually addressing the root causes of disease. This is exactly why our healthcare system is in crisis. These cardiologists and heart specialists do seem to grasp that insulin resistance is the primary driver of hypertension for most people. Instead of tackling the real issue, they just push more drugs. It's no wonder people are skeptical. You're probably here because you sense something is off, and you're right. Too many doctors follow these guidelines like robots, without questioning the top-down directives. How many more thousands of people will now be over-medicated because of these recommendations? It is absolutely heartbreaking that the very authorities tasked with protecting our health seem so clueless and uninterested in fixing the root causes of these problems. I want to know what you think. Please leave your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I've made plenty of other videos on insulin resistance and what I believe is an ideal blood pressure, and I'll link to those for you. Also, be sure to check out my website and my natural insulin resistance reversal and fat loss program. If you're in the US or North America, go to ohaiwellness.com. If you're in the UK or Europe, it's ohaiwellness.co. If you found this video helpful and it resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges the mainstream narrative. Thanks for watching.